Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 75 today for the Hungarian Grand Prix in Season 4. If you guys did miss the previous episode then at the German Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one uploaded quite late yesterday, straight after the real-life Mexican Grand Prix, so you might have missed it, so definitely go check that one out. A bit of controversy there right at the end, and unfortunate, bit of a sweet kind of race. Hopefully we can have a bit of a better time, a more consistent time here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. We go into this still at the top of the table then in terms of the performance chart. You can see that gap remains the same because both us and Red Bull kind of plateau a little bit, with McLaren making a small minor update, it looks like, to try and catch up to Red Bull. And historically it's been a great circuit for McLaren, so we'll see if they have any kind of oomph and bump in performance here around the Hungaroring. But we're going to go straight into Q1 then on our second flying lap of actually the same set of tyres. So I've kind of been liking this kind of strategy of going for 2 laps consecutively on the same set of tyres in Q1, because of course the Q1 tyres, we don't really care about them too much. I don't mind if I wear them out a little bit more, because I'm not going to ever use them again in the race weekend unless something went horribly wrong in the race and I had to make about 4 pit stops. So we can do that on in Q1, and the fuel levels actually can play out the same, so that's no worry there. So been liking that strategy, and it works out for us as we get into Q2, then trying to really dial into the circuit as it were, and then we move into Q2, obviously trying to get into the top 10. We've got a few people probably again trying the alternative strategy that they did at the German Grand Prix. Just like Germany again, there's a 2 tyre difference between the softest and the middle tyre, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to kind of play it and look at it, from the ultra soft tyre to the soft tyre. So the Red Bulls might be trying that as well, and it seems like also my teammate, I think, is trying that strategy as well. We're just going to try and get through on ultra soft tyres. I don't have much confidence of getting through on softs. In hindsight, probably should have just tried it, and I wouldn't have lost any time trying that strategy, but it is what it is. And so in the end we do get through into Q3 on the ultra soft tyres, showing some pretty good pace there. So like I said, in hindsight maybe I should have done that, but you can say a lot of things in hindsight afterwards. So we move on then, alas, into Q3 then with 2 new sets now of ultra soft tyres to burn, so that's really good. We have 2 runs to see how well we do. The first one was a little bit slow, made a mistake into turn 1, and I think that little mistake played in my mind in the back of it, because as we move on to the rest of sector 1, you can see about to take a little bit of a wider line, didn't kind of take it as tight as I wanted to, and had to kind of turn in twice for the apex there, compromised my run a tad, and then generally the lap didn't feel that amazing after. Straight away just making 1 mistake at the first corner just kind of ruins the mood a little bit there. We go across the line, it's not a very competitive lap time there, we have to do better, and so in the second run it is going to be better. You can see going purple there, so obviously fastest of all in this session, or at least faster than are the fastest we've done in sector 2, and at the moment we're P10, so this has to be a very good lap. But at the moment I think Kimi Räikkönen, our teammate, is around P4, P5, so let's see if we can try and match him at least. But it seems like the Red Bulls and McLaren's going very well. We're across the line and we're up into P5, that is just behind Räikkönen there, only 1/10 about the difference, so I'm happy with that. In terms of the difference between me and Kimi is not too large, but you can see the 2 Red Bulls, especially Verstappen, in a world of his own there on pole position. Very surprised to see Lewis Hamilton up there in 3rd place. Obviously the Merc has just been dropping down to the point where it's nearly on the teetering edge of being lower than the Toro Rosso in the performance chart, and yet he's pulled that out of the bag. Obviously it's a really favourite circuit for Hamilton in real life, so I guess he just pulled it out and got 3rd place. But surprised to not see Fernando Alonso actually in the top 10. I didn't realise that, but Van Dorn doing okay in P7, but both Toro Rossos looking strong as well. So it's interesting to see really, because we come here with that advantage in the performance chart. Last race our car was on another planet. Kimi went to a really great win. You saw there at the end of the German Grand Prix I was flying through cars, so we had some really good pace there. We turn up here and it's swung all the way to Red Bull. They look in a different world now at the Hungaroring, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can actually fight back today, or it might be a bit more of a pedestrian race for us. Let's see. Let's go to Sunday. Let's go to the grid.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jensen's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, the engineer, Pierre Gasly and Van Dorn, Hartley, Grosjean, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty. Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg and Magnussen. Ocon, Ericsson, Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So a big aid to not only our race, but also the championship perhaps, is going to be Max Verstappen there, who did get pole position on Saturday, but here on Sunday lines up in P11 after a 10th-place grid penalty for, I'm assuming, one change of engine components. And so Ricciardo is the Red Bull that lines up in pole, and we all move up one position. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out if Verstappen can get through the traffic, because of course, actually, unfortunately for him, he was not the Red Bull that qualified in Q2 on soft tyres. That was Ricciardo. So Ricciardo from pole now has a very strong chance to go through and basically dominate this Grand Prix, because he'll be on a one-stop, I'm assuming, soft tyre to mediums, and he'll also be already on pole in clean air, whereas Raikkonen, who also got through on softs, will have to try and get through some traffic maybe. Really, I'm just going to play about the E and see where we end up, but I don't have a lot of hope to maybe match Ricciardo, but at least I can hopefully try and match Raikkonen in this race, kind of like what we did at Germany. We might be chasing after him in this race on a kind of two-stop strategy versus the one, but either way, the man 1 point behind us in the championship, though, is behind us, 6 places back in P11, so to be honest, I can't be too kind of down going into this race in terms of my mindset. So let's just go out there and just attack it in the best way we can, really. So here we go then, as we rev up now towards 5 red lights to the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're about halfway through the season before the summer break in the F1 season. Who's going to take victory today? Let's find out as we go to lights out. And Raikkonen with a great start from P3, as well as Hamilton, the pole sitter, bogs down. The Australian in the Red Bull car is on the left-hand side, but he's being attacked now. It's 3 wide for first place into turn 1. Raikkonen in the middle, and looks like Ricciardo, though, has found the traction. He's gone the long way round to get back into P1. A great exit off turn 1 there for Ricciardo. Remains in P1. Kimi now attacking Hamilton, though, for P2, and really making some contact there, so both of them getting the elbows out as we narrowly just defend from Gasly and Van Dorn. That was into turn 1. Gasly actually attacks me up the hill there, so we have to go a little bit wide and deep to make sure we give him the room on the inside up that kink, but we do keep it into P4 then. So at the moment, we all stay stationary where we were on the grid slot. Ricciardo, Hamilton, Raikkonen, myself, Gasly then right behind me, and I think it's Stoffel Van Dorn just after him. But now we move on to the very end of lap 1, already through the last corner. You can see the difference in traction and grip mid-corner between the ultra soft tyre and the soft tyre. Remember, Raikkonen is on 2 different compounds harder tyre than me, and we go down the inside with a dive bomb there, and it was a greatly timed dive bomb because Raikkonen also has a horrendous lock-up on the front right tyre, so I don't know if that was maybe just him buckling to pressure, maybe Raikkonen, but it kind of worked out for the best because now we're let pass. Probably you would think that's the better option, because at the moment I'm not racing him in terms of he's going to be on a completely different strategy to me, and so it's probably best that he lets me go for now, and I can try and repay the favour later on in the Grand Prix, maybe if we hold each other up later on, because at the moment I need to be the one in clean air chasing after this man, Hamilton, right ahead of us, and by the time we get to the end of lap 4 then, so very rapidly getting on to our first pit stop then, so the race literally just began, and we're already in for a pit stop because these tyres really don't last long, and also Hungary, there's a very good opportunity to make a good undercut work maybe if Hamilton gets held up enough by Ricciardo on the slower soft tyre. Maybe I could try and jump him, you never know, but I think also myself there might be a little bit of a worry that I get held up in traffic before Hamilton pits, but surely he's going to come in on the next lap or so, so let's find out. But last episode at the German Grand Prix, the overcut was the way to go about things at Hockenheim, so I just don't know how to play it, but historically in Season 3, especially Season 2, what was it, the undercut was so powerful around Hungary because of the traffic just being so horrendous in Sector 2. Obviously it's Monaco like without the barriers pretty much, but we come through turn 1 then on lap 6, so 2 laps after Hamilton pits, and he's still ahead of us, so hasn't really worked out, but hey ho, will now just push on and try and get him on track, as it were, and do the kind of actual overtake on the tarmac there. But he gets past Lance Stroll, so there's also traffic for us to navigate as we try and chase after him, because we've got Stroll there up the road on the minimap. I can see the likes of the Force India car, and I have some pretty bad memories from Force Indias around Hungary. I think it was season 2, wasn't it? I got so pissed off by Sergio Perez in the Force India car in season 2 when I was in a Haas car, because he held me up so much in this very sector 2. Will Lance Stroll do that to me as he goes a little bit slow for my liking there? We take a wider line, but cut back in for the tight run up the hill, down the inside to the chicane. It's oh so close. I'm trying to tiptoe around. We can do a switchback move on Lance Stroll, and we pretty much do a little bit of tango dance with him into that chicane, but we make it work. Nice little move there up into P11, and now we've got a heap of clean air to try and chase after Hamilton, but he himself has clean air to chase after the next man on the road, which is going to be, oh, surprise, surprise, Sergio Perez. So the man I complained about in Hungary in seasons gone by, and the very man I complained about and said was karma last episode, the German Grand Prix qualifying, is the man that might hold me up once again, surprise, surprise, in Sector 2. You can tell I'm not bitter at all. All of that aside, we really do need to get past Sergio Perez very rapidly here, because I need to be sure to get on the back of Hamilton as soon as we can to get up into an effective P2 so far in this Grand Prix. You know, not obviously factoring in the pit stops, but we go into a big dive move to the inside of that right-hander, but Perez is too much for us in the middle of the apex, so we're going to have to wait until maybe the second last corner, getting a bit of a tighter line there, straight in the car faster. Here we go now down the inside of the last corner. Perez is going to squeeze us and make contact, and we almost get shoved into the barrier there by Sergio Perez. Come on, man. The German Grand Prix, you squeezed me off circuit to the gravel, and he almost put me in the barrier there, but we're going to make the move now, swipe across the racing line with DRS open, and we finally do get that move done in a straight line. Nicely done. And now we chase after this man, Hamilton, who's now also getting stuck behind Valtteri Bottas, and I think that's Marcus Ericsson's Sauber there, so there might be 3 cars to overtake soon enough. But at the moment, it's Daniel Ricciardo that leads the way from Kimi Raikkonen in second place. Both these guys on soft tyres, as well as Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, both outside the top 10, I think it was, or at least Fernando Alonso was, but all 4 of these guys on soft tyres. So all these guys will be trying a one-stop, soft to mediums, and they're leading the way 1 to 4. So those are the guys we have to try and chase after on fresher tyres and hopefully try and overtake, just like we did at the German Grand Prix at the end. The only difference is at Hungary, I think the one-stop's even more powerful than Germany, because you're finding so much time and you lose so much time in traffic, just like this, because we're trying to find a way around the outside of Hamilton up the hill, and I just can't do it there. That Mercedes car, I mean, Hamilton clearly had enough pace to put it onto P3 in the grids for a reason there, and be on the front row at the very start, so it's not like the car's going to be super slow, and I can just waltz past him there, and he's doing all the best job he can to kind of park the car in the right place of the circuit. And to be fair, also, he's getting hit by dirty air from Valtteri Bottas and Ericsson. So now as Raikkonen is in the pit lane then for his one and only pit stop, that kind of inspires me to try and move on the outside there to get this thing going and get a move on here in this Grand Prix. But Hamilton fights back. It's a lock up on the front left tyre there, and Hamilton swoops around the outside to keep this still side by side now for a 2-3 sequence of corners now. Through the last corner, we're on the outside, Hamilton to the inside there, banging tyres once again onto the main straight, DRS open, and we're going to try and squeeze Hamilton towards the wall, and Raikkonen's going to come out. It's going to be oh so close. I think Hamilton went round the outside of Raikkonen as we went on the left, he went on the right, and so it's a fantastic battle here. But look at that, Hamilton got the rear left tyre on the curbing. He loses traction, that allows us to shoot it round the outside there. Here we go, absolutely amazing battle this is with Hamilton. We're going to squeeze him out to the inside, and we're up into P7. But what a great sequence of half a lap there from the previous one to now. And look at that, 3 wide between Gasly, Raikkonen and Hamilton, and Gasly has pulled off a double overtake on Raikkonen and Hamilton. But now Raikkonen will have something to say about that, and we'll go around the outside of the French to eventually make that overtake. So great move there by Raikkonen, but great sequence there, 3 wide between the Toro Rosso, Ferrari and Mercedes car, and almost a fantastic double overtake for Gasly there. But now after that, we were setting our sights on Valtteri Bottas and Ericsson there, but they actually come in for their pit stop a little bit earlier than I thought they would. So we're going to continue on now until lap 16 and just try and drag this stint out to about lap 20 if we can, to then go onto soft tyres, because obviously it's ultra soft. Now that's in theory doable, but we've seen from the past sometimes the 2-stop can involve the medium tyre. So I want to make sure I can drag out this second stint to make sure I can actually finish on softs at the end of the third stint. But there's a crucial thing of Raikkonen here is closing up now. He's on a completely different strategy, so I'm going to go on purpose to lean mixture and none ERS and basically let him by there and pretty much repay the favour of him not making it too difficult earlier on the Grand Prix, because I'm not racing him. I'm not in the same race as him. He is trying to chase after Ricciardo in second place. Ricciardo at the moment leads the way, so it's only a good thing that I let him go, because he might be able to, you never know, might be able to chase after Ricciardo and overtake him. Meanwhile, though, we've got a bit of a kerfuffle here between Carlos Sainz and the back marker of the Williams there. Carlos Sainz has lost a significant amount of his front wing there. So remember, the younger Spaniard was in third place effectively on the road on that one stop there, but now with a huge amount of damage, Fernando Alonso in the background there, that's being held up by the traffic, but eventually he will be right at the back of Carlos Sainz, so that might just hand Alonso an easy third place in the one-stopper race this afternoon, as we now move into the pit stops now on lap 21. So we've done some great work here to stretch these tyres, and now we come in for a set of soft tyres. But I can confirm Hamilton has come in already 2 laps earlier, but he went to medium tyres. So like I said, I think right now Hamilton will probably jump us in this pit stop phase, but we're going to be on a much faster compounded tyre. The mediums aren't too great around Hungary in my opinion. I just don't like going, in general I don't like going on harder tyres in the F1 game. They just feel generally horrible compared to the softer compound, so I'd rather try and be a bit more aggressive here and try and chase after Hamilton. He's going to get held up again by his teammate Valtteri Bottas perhaps. So now we're out in P8 behind Hamilton, lap 22, and we just chase after him and hopefully have the pace to overtake him pretty easily with the soft compared to the medium. But meanwhile then, an update on the race order. Ricciardo still leads the way then on medium tyres. Second place is Kimi Raikkonen, but about maybe a whole entire pit straight back from Ricciardo. So if he wants to try and get the win, he's going to have to pull out some miracle lap times. Then third place is indeed Fernando Alonso, because he got the place on Carlos Sainz. Sainz had to come in for an extra pit stop there that he wasn't planning to make after that contact with the Williams car, so really unfortunate for him. Then it was Bottas on the road, then Ericsson, and then Hamilton and myself, and you're about to see actually Hamilton overtake that said Ericsson car around the outside, then the Sauber, and Hamilton's going to make the move. A little bit of contact though on the front left, that was for Ericsson, so he kind of keeps his foot in a little bit and the nose in, but Hamilton will eventually squeeze him out, and now we can try and get Ericsson. Hopefully I try and move around the outside, actually very opportunistic, catch him napping, but we go a little bit too wide there on the throttle application and we can't get that place done right now, but I'm really hoping he doesn't hold us up anymore in sector 2. I need to get this done as quickly as I can, and so we're going to shoot it around the outside there. We're going to find the traction and up the hill. It's going to be a really nice move actually, really satisfying when you can apply the throttle full throttle and actually the car just sticks up the hill. Really nice to make that move. And so now we'll get on the back of Hamilton, and Bottas, I can actually say, my engineer told me that Bottas has an issue with his car, so we can maybe make a double overtake on the Mercedes cars right here. As Hamilton slipstreams Bottas, I'm going to do the same to Hamilton, and then we're going to pull to the left, Hamilton to the right. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. We go the long way around in both the cars. Hamilton's still on my inside there, I think, though, as we lose a bit of traction on the curbing on the exit, and he pulls through. The Mercedes powers past, even though we have DRS, he has it as well, and he nearly lops off our front wing there. A very aggressive defensive drive from Hamilton, and almost like real life there with Vettel and Bottas. I nearly had a bit of contact there into that very corner that they made contact in real life with Vettel and Bottas, and so we had to back out of that, and we had to live to fight another day basically and try and overtake him later on. But meanwhile, speaking about overtaking and actually getting things done, Verstappen with a nice move around the outside eventually later in this race on Ericsson to get up the order. So it's Verstappen, Van Dorn, then myself and Hamilton, so that's the kind of context of where Verstappen is in this race order. Van Dorn also on the soft tyres actually, so I find that quite funny that Verstappen and Hamilton on mediums, but only me and Van Dorn there, the 2 stoppers, were brave enough to go onto soft tyres at the end of this race. So we might be able to overtake Hamilton, but I also need to watch out there. Now I know that McLaren car hasn't been too consistent this season so far, but it should theoretically have the pace. We need to watch out if Van Dorn might make a late charge on ourselves to overtake us. But first and foremost, I need to get the job done on one Lewis Hamilton, my fellow Brit here. So we move on to lap 30 then, 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix. It's going to be a big old dive down the inside, but a lock up on the front right. Hamilton will get the switchback move going on the inside of turn 1, and on the exit once again we're head to head on the run down the hill, but this time we have this speed, we've got the advantage, and we won't be squeezed out, and we'll get the move on the left-hander. And like I said, Van Dorn also on soft tyres might fancy a pass here, an aggressive move on Hamilton. They go up to the hill, the blind crest on the left-hander, and Van Dorn round the outside for a really bold and brave move, and he's made it work, and now he might chase after us. So that's the worry here towards the end of the Grand Prix. As we move on to lap 33, you can see there we've got got plenty of ERS battery power to play with, but on the fuel, you can see it's going down and down as we're in rich mix at the moment, and so we might need to watch out for the fuel gauge there, so that might affect things, and I don't know how much fuel Van Dorn has, but that might be my one and only worry towards the end of this Grand Prix. But as you can see on the minimap there's a huge amount of space ahead of us, so I don't think I'll be catching up to Fernando Alonso, unfortunately. So I think the maximum we can hope for is P4. But remember, of course, Verstappen, the guy we're only 1 point ahead in the championship, he's 2 positions back behind us at the moment, behind Van Dorn, behind Hamilton as well. So that'll be a good thing for us in the standings. I don't know how it's going to play out with Ricciardo, because obviously Ricciardo was a fair bit away from us in the standings before going to this race, but now with a win to our 4th place, I don't know how that will play out, but we do eventually get through towards 4th place. Van Dorn did put some pressure on us, kept me honest in that race, I guess you could say, in those last 3 laps, where he managed the fuel and ERS quite correctly, and so Ricciardo will come through for the win at the Hungarian Grand Prix. We come home for a very hard-fought 4th place here at Hungary.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A great win then for the Red Bull team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One, and that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes.
So GG's to Ricciardo, a very dominant win there at the Hungarian Grand Prix. And just when you think, oh, okay, the Ferrari car's coming kind of really good now. 2 wins on the trot for Raikkonen. Red Bull comes slamming back in with some great momentum there from the Australian to get the win in a very good fashion. But Kimi still in 2nd place. He did really well. And really that was the strategy playing into it. But of course, us qualifying on the Ultras, we were kind of penned into the 2-stop. And we did the best job we could. We were the highest of the 2-stoppers today, because all 3 of the podium were on the 1-stop from soft to mediums there. And good to at least finish ahead of Verstappen, because we still lead the way in the Drivers' Championship. But now it's very close between Ricciardo and Verstappen and myself, because it's still not a lot of points there. You know, considering how close this season's been, how the performances have been so up and down, the points tally is still uber close between myself and Verstappen. There's 7 points, and you know, only 3 back now from Ricciardo. So with that win and me and Verstappen being down the order a little bit, Ricciardo completely swings back into this championship fight maybe, after it looked like he was slipping away a tad. And for the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull still looking comfortable there, and we're trying the best job we can to close up here in Ferrari, myself and Kimi, with some improved results. But still, Red Bull are, you know, to say they had some DNFs earlier on the season, they're pretty consistent so far in this kind of second third of the season, and it's going to be tricky to close down. McLaren do well today to try and get some more points to close up on Renault, but it's going to be a tough task for the guys in orange. And Mercedes actually get a little bit on Toro Rosso today, so Toro Rosso, they were looking right on the heels of Mercedes in the Constructors earlier, but Mercedes looking a little bit better these days actually, last few episodes. But we'll move on now to Claire with the last few questions before we round out the episode.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You've taken the lead in the championship. Are you going to be able to keep up that momentum?
It's the thing I preach all the time about being in the lead of the championship. It doesn't really mean too much, so you need to take it race by race, and you know, things can crop up still.
It was more like Dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it?
We were in the wars a little bit around Hungary, so I think I'll go for a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, you know, call these guys a little bit of a fairground idiocy around there. That's going to be a rep decrease, unfortunately, or kind of fortunately for Mercedes.
Appreciate your time.
And so with that, we'll round out the episode then. In terms of the rivalry there, it's still uber close, actually, between myself and Kimi. We start a brand new rivalry with Verstappen, only fitting that we do. So far, he's beaten us in one, quite marginally, actually, so hopefully we can try and take the fight to him a little bit better in this second rivalry. But to my surprise, surprised we did not get the R&D bonus there of 600 points there of scoring 40 championship points. So that was a bit unfortunate. And that's unfortunate also for the rep decrease for Ferrari. I actually got a rep decrease for finishing behind Raikkonen because, of course, my contract's a first driver. So anytime I don't beat Raikkonen, I guess the team don't like it. And so going into the contract negotiations, that might play against me because you can see at the moment my current contract value is higher than what Ferrari see my current value is at after the Hungarian Grand Prix. So in the negotiations, we're going to have to negotiate a weaker contract, unfortunately. So I have to take sacrifice on the race bonuses and also the simultaneous development there. I'm going to stay put with level 3 on the upgrade speed, though, because I want, when we can buy upgrades, I want them to come in thick and fast. But I'll take a hit on the race bonuses and also the simultaneous updates, but also trying to get some pit stop efficiency in there. And so in the end, after failing one attempt, I have to undersell myself once again to guarantee I get a new contract that's not the reset one that we get at the very start of the season here in season 4. So a little bit annoying in a way, but obviously I can't blame them. Obviously they have to do their job of, yeah, I'm a first driver, so if I'm being beaten by Kimi 3 times in a row now, obviously it's going to be a bit of a rep decrease. So hopefully now we can try and push on and kind of beat Kimi again to try and get a better contract later on in the season. But guys, if you did enjoy that race, thoroughly enjoyable one, really, the fighting with Hamilton there, that sequence where I think he went on the outside of Raikkonen, I went to the left-hand side, that was really, really tense, really great to see and really fun to have. So if you guys did enjoy that as well, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been over. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.